welcome to this art club session. My name is Fiona and I'm going to be running a session on paper mache. We're going to be using some flour, some tap water, an empty container, you'll need some masking tape, a pile of torn up newspaper or magazines, wrapping paper, anything that's a bit absorbent, maybe some wool. You'll need a brush and some creativity. So the objects that I've prepared, and I'm going to show you how to make these. One of these is my little superhero. She's Mother Nature, because I've been looking a lot at the garden and all the animals and stuff that are going about. And she's been made out of a milk carton with lots of other things that I found around about the house. But another way of using the paper mache is to make a container or a bowl. And so I'm going to be showing you both of these techniques in this particular workshop, and it'll show you a range of different ways of applying the paper mache. So first things first, we're going to start with some plain flour. That's just ordinary plain flour, not self-raising or anything like that. And you're going to use the same quantity of flour as and water. And we're going to put it in a jar like this, and then we're just going to add some water here. I've got a wee container, so roughly the same amount of water as flour, like that. And then put the lid on, make sure it's really secure, otherwise you'll end up wearing it. And then give it a really good shake like this, because you want to mix all the flour and the water together to get a good even mixture. And it wants to be runny, we don't want like pancake mixture. So you can see in here I'm just stirring this with the brush and it should sort of drip off like that. You want it slightly gloopy, the sort of consistency of runny PVA. And that's our flour and water mix ready to start applying with newspaper. So we're going to start with this small container here, and I've got some strips of paper that I've torn up, and we're just going to lightly brush our flour and water mix onto that and apply it to the bottle, and then rub it down, get all the creases out with the brush as well, so you're getting an extra layer, and that's going to help the next piece of paper to stick to the bottle as well. So we just keep doing this repeatedly. Like so. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I'll come back and show you when this is completely covered. Covered in newspaper, we need to make a head. We want our superhero to be headless, so we're just going to scrunch up a piece of newspaper or whatever else paper it is you're using, and twist a little bit at the bottom, because it's going to be the neck, as it were, and we're going to stick that into the top of the bottle like that. And then we're going to do a bit more work with the strips of paper that we've already cut up, so that this becomes secure. So you need to start covering this with wet paper. Punching the air or whatever you want it to be doing. So I've cut two shapes that are the same. I'm going to put them back to back, and then I'm just folding these bits back so that they can be attached with the strips of newspaper and flour. But first what we're going to do is we're going to wrap some bits of newspaper with the flour and water paste, round these two cardboard shapes to hold them together. And that's us got the basis of your superhero figure. Maybe looks a bit like a teapot at the moment. But what we're going to do is, this needs to dry now because it's very wet at the moment. So I'm going to stop this bit of the process and I'm going to show you the next stage, which is going to be making a bowl or a container, but kind of using the same process. So for this use of paper mache, what we're using is a container. I've got a little glass plate here. You can pick something else, a cup, a bowl, anything that's got a smooth surface, and you can either use the outside of it or the inside. I've actually chosen to use the inside of it here, and what you need to do is cover the surface of it with a bit of cling film if you've got that, or a bit of plastic bag or something. A dog poo bag might do nicely if you've got a dog, and just make sure the whole of the surface is covered with that, because what we're using this as a mould, so once all the paper mache is dried we can actually lift it off. So we're going to do the same as we did before with the figure. It's just layering up the paper with the flour and water paste, and you notice your hands get lovely and covered in this mixture, and we're just going to keep doing that until the whole thing's covered. I'm just going to prop this up for the purposes of filming so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've got lots of different chunks of paper here, and we just layer up, and again just give everything a really good coating with your flour and water mix, like this. And you want to get, what we're going to do with this one, we need more than just the one layer because this is a mould and the thing needs to be strong enough. We don't want it to be flimsy when we lift it out of the mould. So this needs a lot more work. So now that I've completed the first layer, and you can see the edges are really rough, don't worry about that. You might like that, that's the finish that you want, but if not, at the end we can actually trim that off and make it really smooth. So at this point, what we want to do, I'm going to put some handles. I've just picked a solid thing, so it's a bit more like a quake, I think, something like that. And similar to what we did with the arms on the figurine thing, we're just going to take flour and water paste mix, stick your cardboard where you want it, and then stick that down, hold it into place with a piece of the newspaper with the flour and water paste, and then you'll need some more to kind of cover that to make it more secure. And we do this after the first layer, and then we're going to keep building this up again. So that's the kind of first handle, for want of a better expression, in place. And similar with the cardboard arms on the figure, we're just going to cover this with the paper mache. Because again, this is just going to add to the structure and strengthening it, so that when it's dry, it's not going to fall apart. So that's the bowl finished with decorating, if you can see. And what you need to do now is just leave that to dry. And when it's completely dry, you want to give it just a coating of varnish, if you've got some quick drying varnish at home, or some clear nail polish, and that'll seal it all, and then you can use it for whatever you want. You can do the back as well. I'm not going to do that in this session, but you could paint it the way that we're going to do the astronaut if you like. So we're going to go over to the astronaut. Now I've not got any white paint, so I'm going to make a yellow astronaut. And it's just a very simple process of mixing up your paint and then coating all of the newspaper. And you might need to give this a couple of coats because you can still see some of the newsprint through that, but you might find that that's okay. So maybe it's going to be a deep sea diver. I think deep sea divers wear yellow, don't they? It can change as you're going on like this. So this is the second way that you can decorate your paper mache, is with some acrylic paint. And the nice thing about the acrylic paint is when it dries, it's waterproof, so you don't need to coat it with anything once you've done that. So this is us almost at the end of our session. So you can see what I've done with the face. I've painted it in acrylic paint, given it an interesting colour, and I've cut eyes and a mouth out of a glossy magazine that I found, and I've stuck them on with the acrylic paint so that our adventurer is now ready to put the helmet on. And voila, ready to go off for their adventures, either in the deep sea or deep space, whatever. I'll leave that up to you. So that's the end of my paper mache session. I'm sure you'll make some really exciting stuff with these processes, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye.